The deepest realms of military strategy? Well, they definitely don't exist in a vacuum. They are directly, intrinsically linked to the harsh, unforgiving realities of the front lines. Today, in this explainer, we're going to dive right into a really profound and intense journey.
We're going to anchor our whole discussion on a famously powerful warning from Thucydides. The state which separates its scholars from its warriors will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting done by fools. Now that is not just some dusty ancient philosophy, right? It's literally the uncompromising essence of modern military leadership. You absolutely need thinkers who can fight and fighters who can think.
So, to really grasp the true weight of that fusion between scholar and warrior, we need to ground our analysis in reality. We need to look at someone who actually lived it. This is Army First Lieutenant Nick A. DeWurst.
He was just 25 years old. 25. Think about that for a second. At an age where so many of us are really just starting to figure out our path in life, Lieutenant Dewhurst made the ultimate sacrifice for his country.
The stark facts of his final day are a pretty sobering reminder of the very real costs of war. On July 20, 2008, while serving in the Kalandar district of Afghanistan, his convoy came under an intense attack by insurgents using rocket-propelled grenades and small arms fire. He was an infantry officer assigned to the 101st Airborne Division, and on that exact day, he was killed in action.
And that brings us to the central question of our macro narrative today. How exactly are soldiers like him forged? What kind of intense, multi-layered preparation creates an elite leader like Nick DeWurst? I mean, someone capable of leading in literally the most dangerous environments on Earth. Let's find out.
Wisdom and Warfare, the Mind of a Leader.
If you look at West Point, they have this Defense and Strategic Studies major, or DSS. And what's fascinating is that it actually strips away standard, constantly rotating Army doctrine. Instead, it immerses cadets entirely in timeless military theory. They aren't just memorizing the what of current tactics, they are completely mastering the how of cognitive warfare.
It's an unbelievably rigorous environment. Here, cadets study the intense friction between the tactical, operational, and strategic levels of warfare. They absolutely must grasp that a microscopic tactical action, something like a single squad's movement through a specific neighborhood, can instantaneously alter the strategic gravity of an entire war.
So they're not just flipping through modern field manuals. They actively dissect classical theorists to master timeless principles of war like mass, maneuver, and surprise. And here's the crazy part. Cadets will actually use ancient texts from Sun Tzu or theories from Jomini and Clausewitz to map out solutions for modern drone warfare or cyber attacks. It just proves that the core psychology of war really never changes.
But, of course, theory is ultimately tested in pure chaos. In the West Point Simulation Center, cadets run these grueling 4-hour interactive combat exercises. They are dropped into highly complex simulated urban environments, like Baghdad, for example, and they have to make split-second, platoon-level decisions, all while managing dynamic crossfire and civilian presence. It's incredibly intense.
Forging elite leaders, a legacy of supremacy.
Now, let's zoom out and look at the historic lineage of the highly specialized unit Nick Dewhurst belonged to, the U.S. Army Rangers. This is a legacy spanning over 2.5 centuries, from Rogers Rangers way back in the French and Indian War in 1756 to Darby's Commandos in World War II through the long-range patrols of Vietnam, culminating in the 75th Ranger Regiment we know today. It's an enduring, specialized strike force.
The ethos and the Ranger Creed.
Now, the Ranger tab is definitely not merely an award. Earning and wearing this tab signifies belonging to the most proficient, technically skilled light infantry force in the world. It proves you have survived the crucible and that you've emerged as a supremely confident small unit leader.
And that elite standard is literally codified in the Ranger Creed. Just listen to these powerful words from the text. Surrender is not a Ranger word. I will never leave a fallen comrade to fall into the hands of the enemy, and under no circumstances will I ever embarrass my country. I mean, wow. It demands just an unbelievable level of mental toughness and moral fortitude. You literally have to be ready to complete the mission, even if you are the lone survivor.
That fierce ethos is perfectly distilled into 4 legendary words. Rangers lead the way. This motto absolutely wasn't invented in some corporate boardroom. It was forged in the bloodiest of circumstances by the 5th Ranger Battalion during the harrowing D-Day landings at Omaha Beach, and it is a standard lived by every single day in the modern military.
Honoring the fallen, the spirit of the soldier.
Let's bring this grand history back to the personal, human cost. The solemn Ranger Memorial at Fort Benning stands as a quiet tribute to all Rangers, past, present, and future. And beside it, the Purple Heart represents the stark, visual reality of those who were wounded or killed. These are the ultimate sacrifices made in defense of the nation. And this is where our entire journey truly comes full circle. On October 15, 2010, a special ceremony was held at this very memorial to honor West Point's Army Rangers killed in action. And inscribed on that solemn honor roll is the name of First Lieutenant Nick Dewhurst, the scholar and the warrior, forever united in history.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. When we see a young leader, highly educated in timeless strategy and forged in the most demanding crucibles on Earth, what is the true weight of the training, history, and sacrifice required to actually lead the way?